Magic the Gathering is an increasingly expensive game to play. The new set Wilds of Eldraine is going for £140 for one set booster box on Amazon right now. That's only 360 cards, and we all know you're never going to get £140 worth of value out of those packs. I thought I'd try something different instead. I went on Facebook Marketplace, saw a listing for 4,000 cards, offered them just 40 quid, and this is what I got. Now, if it looks like there's some missing from here, that's because they're over there. Sorting this took literal days. It was many, many hours. I am so glad that I kept my old Android phone so that I could scan in all of these things with a continuous scan. Now, there is an app that does that on iPhone, but it's a lot more expensive than this one. This one's called Delver Lens, I believe. It does have a subscription if you want to output more than 100 cards, but it's relatively affordable, all things considered. And quite frankly, it was a godsend because the other apps require you to take a photo of every single card one by one, which I don't have the patience to do. I barely had the patience to do this. Now, of course, as you'd expect in a bulk box like this, there are a crap load of tokens, which are almost all relatively entirely worthless, but they're still useful to have as in general as you play the game. There are also a huge amount of basic lands, but again, that can be a utility, especially if you're brand new to the hobby. And you know what? Some of them are quite pretty. Now, most of these, as I looked at them, came from sets produced in around 2019, 2020, 2021. So I'm guessing the person that sold this just opens a lot of booster product, and this is them clearing out. I don't know if they run drafts or they are trying to get the expensive stuff and sell that on. In fact, they said that they had about 16,500 cards to get rid of, and I thought this took a while, so I'm pretty sure if I'd got more, it would have taken me months to make this video. So I scanned them in. I'm pretty sure some of them scanned as the wrong editions. I don't think it makes that much difference. I exported that list from Delver, took it to Moxfield, and looked at all of the relatively valuable cards, the stuff it would actually be worth trading in to a local game store, verified that was all there, and verified it was the correct editions. And this is what I was left with. As you can see, it's actually a fair number of cards. I set the filter to be around 79 cents in value, so most of these are over $1, some of them quite a lot over $1. Now, Delver does spit out a total for how much this box would be worth on TCG mid. However, we all know that that's not realistically achievable. You couldn't actually sell most of these cards for the stated value. But for the roughly 3,500 cards I scanned, I didn't scan all of the basic lands, and obviously there are quite a lot of tokens in here, it did come out to a value of around £750, which sounds great. It sounds like £710 of profit, but of course there's a reason it was sold in this box for only 40 quid. Most places aren't going to want to buy those, and most people aren't going to want to buy those. Some of these cards are actually worth a significant amount of money. These three, for example, are all about $3.50 each. They're a little bit less valuable here in Europe, but what can you do? Almost everything is. Psychic Aggression, which has been sitting on the end here this whole time, is about $4.50. This card, Pitless Plunderer, is apparently the most expensive, at about 14 bucks. The card I ended up with the most copies of was Feign Death, where for some reason I now have 7, each worth about $1.80 each, which means they add up to about $12.50 worth of value. Although coming close, I actually ended up with 5 copies of Boros Charm. This one's worth about 50 cents more than the others. Added all up, these are apparently worth about 18 bucks. This Gilderbairn is my highest value foil that I pulled, apparently worth $11. Now, of course, since selling most of these is unrealistic, the question actually becomes, how useful is it for general deck building, especially for someone like a new player that doesn't necessarily have established staples yet? So I looked through to try and find some cards that saw quite a lot of play in formats like Commander. And you do end up with cards like Urza's Tower, Urza's Mine, and 3 power plants, God knows why, which might not fit every Commander deck, but they are always a good option to have. For blue players, there's a couple of Brainstorms, a couple of counter spells. That's obviously ideal. And this Brainstorm foil isn't even that warped. And of course you got cards like Snap, which may not be the best card in the world, but it can fit in a fair number of decks. For green players, there are a fair number. They're just in here somewhere, because none of them are particularly valuable, even if they are quite useful. The only one I have pulled out is Beast Within. The Llanowar Elves, Elvish Mystic, cards like Moss Diamond, I have found in here. And for everyone else, along with the Urza's, Power Plant, and company, there are cards like this, the Whisper Silk Cloak, the Heraldic Banner, and the Expedition Map, which all do see varying levels of play. And I should mention, on top of everything, there were several of these Arena redemption codes, not all of which were used. So I will show you a screenshot now of the things I pulled from those. So to conclude, this box has nominally made me money. There is enough value in the high value cards alone that if I sold them, I could make back more money than I spent on the whole box and then probably sell on the box to someone else. That being said, the question is, should you go out and buy a similar box? Knowing full well that you're almost certainly not going to buy it from the exact same person I got this one from, and even if you did, the contents would be different. Not every seller on places like Facebook Marketplace will have been as generous. A lot of them will have gone through and removed all of the things that I pulled out that were high value. You will just be left with draft chaff. That being said, while this is a budget channel, Magic the Gathering players do like to gamble. That's why we like cracking packs. And if you like cracking packs and finding new things that you've never seen before, this is certainly one way to do it. Because I guarantee there's some crap that's never been played in your local play group somewhere in this box. I don't believe that you can build a commander deck that would actually win anything from the cards that are in here. But it is certainly a place to start. It's good inspiration. There are legendary creatures in here you could make your commander. There's good ramp cards in here. And there's a lot of good utility cards. It's a place to start. And if you spent this same money on 10 booster packs instead, you would probably walk away with just as much chaff and way fewer cards. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. Have you bought bulk boxes like this one before? Were they worth buying? Would you do it again? Tapped Out is a brand new channel, so if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, it would really help out. Thank you, and I will see you next time.